Mhm. Jazakallah khairan kathira, Sheikh. Um, I absolutely agree with you that, mashallah, in Muslims all over the world, there is definitely a desire to connect their children with the Quran. Even if people themselves are not connected with the Quran, they themselves don't know how to read or they have not memorized. There is definitely this desire that their children should do, at least one recitation so that they can throw a big Ameen party, right? Or that their children becomes a hafiz so that they can talk about, how their child is a hafiz. But but there's also I feel a lot of Muslims who are drifting away from the Quran. And I'm not just talking about the non-religious ones. I find that even within religious families, practicing Muslims, you come across people who don't know how to read Quran. Um, and being a part of an Islamic school and also an institute where we teach Quran. We come across this on the daily basis that there are children who come in the eighth grade, who come in the ninth grade, who cannot literally read the Quran. Or there are children who are being brought to memorize the Quran, but they're not able to memorize because neither of the parents can recite the Quran. So if they cannot recite the Quran, how can they listen to their child's lesson and how can their child memorize the Quran? So there is definitely, this sad reality as well, where people are drifting away from the Quran, or I see that people don't put in as much importance, put in as much effort because they don't feel it's as important to connect, your children with the Quran at an early age. And there is, like you mentioned, the hadith that the people of the Quran are the people of Allah, right? There is a huge difference between people who have the Quran in their lives and people who don't have the Quran in their lives. And I think this is something that every Muslim needs to think about. That is it necessary for me to have the Quran in my life? And is this something that I want for my children? Is this something that I want for my family? And if I don't have the Quran in my life, if I'm not connected with the Quran in one way or in some way, is this something that's going to harm me? Is this something that is going to cause me to suffer? Right? And this is something that we really need to take seriously because where on the one hand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes his book as Mubarak, as blessed and a source of great blessing in so many ways, the Quran is also Kitabun Aziz, a very honorable book, which means that if you abandon it, if you don't give it the right that it deserves, then putting the Quran behind your back, this is something very dangerous, right? This is something that's going to drive a person towards hell. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So the Quran really needs to be a part of our lives. And I feel like this is a value that Muslims are forgetting. We don't give it as much importance anymore. For example, our children, from the moment that they're very little, we're very eager that, they should learn this skill or that skill. They should be independent, Montessori home and whatnot. What about Quran, right? Well, what about ensuring that the Quran is a part of their life? And I feel that the greatest gift that parents can give their children is to help them become Ahlul Quran. And this happens at home. This is the greatest gift that you can give your children, that you help them become people of the Quran. That the Quran is a part of their life, it's a part of their identity, it's a part of their, what they feel is normal, right? And this happens at home. And if we don't help our children become Ahlul Quran, they're going to struggle a lot. They're really going to struggle. It happens with so many people that, for example, they're very eager to learn the Quran. And this is something that I see. People are so eager to learn the meaning of the Quran, but they can't because they can't even read. Why can't they read? Because they were never taught how to read. And these are kids coming from Muslim families, right? And sometimes that desire is there, but people don't know where to start and what to do.